Hi, I'm Pat Higgerty, Principal Counsel, Higgerty Law. I'm here with one of our team members, Erinn. As a part of our ongoing program to educate our clients and the public as to your various legal entitlements, we're here today to talk to you about a new subject. Erinn, what is it?
Our new subject today is the Victims of Crime program. So this is a program that victims can access to gain compensation for the crimes that have been committed against them.
And let's be clear, what we're talking about in terms of victims are people who have been injured as a direct result of a crime. And those people may be qualified to make a claim.
Pat, can you give us an example?
Sure, Erinn. Let's take, for example, what we read all too much about in the papers these days. Someone is at an LRT station, complete innocent bystander, and they're randomly attacked by someone. That's an assault. That's an eligible offense. And if they're injured and if they report it promptly to the police, that's one of the requirements as well. There are various ins and outs to this, but that's a key one. Then they would be entitled to make a claim. And then they could apply to the Victims of Crime program, and we would assist you in making that application and advocating for you throughout the process. Erinn, can you share with everyone how this program is funded?
Yeah, so the program is funded by a surcharge that gets added at the end of a fine, and these fines are ones in criminal court and traffic court, and the surcharge is about 15% of the fine, and then the surcharge gets put in a fund, and the fund is there and it's accessible for the victims. And this essentially gives back to the victim to compensate for the injuries that they've sustained.
Absolutely.
So what kind of injuries do they have to have?
Well, great question, Erinn. As I alluded to in my example, generally it has to be involving violence or threats of violence, which actually result in injuries as a direct result. So assault, for example, would be a prime one. And there are many others involving aggravated assault, assault with a weapon. The list goes on sexual assault. The list goes on and on. There's quite an extensive list, but if you feel you've been affected by or the victim of an aggressive type crime, there may well be compensation for you. Now, when is the deadline to make this application, Erinn?
So you have a 2-year deadline to make this application. Now, if there are extenuating circumstances that you can apply past 2 years, but the general rule of thumb is 2 years past the date of the injury or the crime.
That's right. And so if you make the application within time and a decision is made, it might be a decision you like and that'll be the end of it. But on the other hand, if the decision is not to your satisfaction, within 30 days of receiving the decision, you can apply for a review of the decision to the review board. And if the review board determines that there are merits to a review, or essentially an appeal, then the review will occur by either an oral or a written submission. It's your choice. But you may find that the review board turns it down. It all depends on whether the review panel is of the view that there are sufficient merits to a review or an appeal. And if they turn you down, or if the result from the review is not favorable, then you'd be forced to go to the courts to try and have the courts reconsider the decision. But that is a difficult type of application to make. So, Erinn, can you tell us how the compensation is determined?
Well, essentially, it's a point system.
That's right, and that point system is determined by the categories of injuries. You're allowed to claim for 3 categories, and the severity within each category. And then those points, as determined by this chart, are then translated into dollar amounts, and that determines the compensation amount.
So points give you dollars. Do you think that's really fair for a victim?
Well, I understand what you're saying, because you just can't put a dollar amount on misery from injury. You just can't. But it's the system we have, and it's the best we can do to work within it to get what we can for you. we do it on a contingency fee basis. And so if we don't recover for you, then you don't pay us anything. And we'll also incur all the disbursements, the expenses needed to make the claim. We might need to gather some information. That might cost us money. We'll incur those expenses, and we'll only charge you for them if we recover. So thanks, folks, for giving us this opportunity to explain to you the Victims of Crime Compensation Program. And please stay tuned for our further educational programs. You'll be hearing more from us about many topics well into the future. Erinn, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, if you have any topics or comments that you want us to cover for next time, just comment below and we'd be happy to cover those topics.
Or call us, contact us by email, however you wish, anytime. You'd be most welcome.